If you listen carefully, that little sound you hear is Oscar buzz, getting louder and louder. We'll have to wait until Thursday for the official announcement, but it seems like one of the movies topping just about everybody's list is Django Unchained. I sat down with director Quentin Tarantino and two of his stars to get the inside scoop on the film that has everybody talking. It's a Nightline interview. It's hard to imagine Jamie Foxx as a slave or Leonardo DiCaprio as a despicable slave owner.
I'm curious.
I'm curious what makes you so curious.
And yet, here they are, facing off in one of the most daring movies of the year, Django Unchained.
What's your name?
Django. The D is silent.
The latest from the provocative writer-director Quentin Tarantino. The new film defies classification, a revenge fantasy.
I like the way you die, boy.
A romance, a western, and it has everyone talking. One critic said recently, there is something for everyone to hate in this film. There's something to make everybody mad.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that you do a film like this with Quentin Tarantino and not expect that. I think that's what you sign up for.
Fox plays a freed slave who goes on a blood-soaked mission to rescue his wife, played by Kerry Washington.
You scared me.
Fox says he quickly discovered he'd have to park all his success at the door.
Quentin, he looked at me and he says, "You gotta be a slave." And I went, "What is that about?" And as I looked at my Louis bag and I looked at my Range Rover key, and he says, "If you don't leave that outside, we're never gonna be able to tell a story." Which was tough for me because I worked all my life to get to where I am as Jamie Foxx, and now he says, "You're not there. If you do it the right way, it'll be an iconic film."
It certainly is a controversial one. Among the film's many provocations,
What's your name, boy?
its liberal, some might say promiscuous use of the N-word.
I don't think anybody is actually going out there saying that we use the word more excessively than it was used in 1858 in Mississippi. And if that's not the case, then they can shut up. It's my job to tell the truth.
DiCaprio takes a chance in this one too, playing Kelvin Candie.
This was one of the most narcissistic, self-indulgent, racist, most despicable characters I've ever read in my entire life.
I can choose to do with my property whatever I so desire.
Not only is the character he plays vile, taking this part was a big deal for an actor of his caliber. The first time he hasn't been the leading man since his colossal success in Titanic 16 years ago. Pure evil is new for him.
The first day on set was incredibly difficult for me.
Can I
Jamie
speak
was
on
there.
that? I'll speak on that.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, let him speak on it first.
I know, I have to tell it because I watched it. I watched.
Yeah.
And he's saying the word, and he went, "Buddy, God, whoops." And I said, "What's the deal?" He said, "It's tough." I said, "You know what? You're human. It's supposed to be tough." Samuel Jackson quickly said, "Hey, MF, get over that. It's just another Tuesday for us, and let's get going."
Of course, it's not just the language that's loaded, but the topic itself, slavery, including a particularly painful scene where Kerry Washington is whipped, a scene the filmmakers won't let us show you.
Everybody, people on the trucks, people in catering, everything, just stood still. Quentin had a great thing that he would do on his sets. He would play music in between scenes. This particular day, I asked for a certain piece of music. It's Fred Hammond, No Weapons. So as Kerry is, being strapped up, we played that song, and the song was, "No weapons formed against me shall prosper." I looked over and saw a girl who had never been on a set before, and she was one of the extras, and her hands went up like this.
Yes, I testify.
And she started testifying. And as everybody had tears in their eyes, you felt the ancestors, you felt the significance of why we're doing this film and showing it this way.
For all the dark moments, the film is also unexpectedly funny.
Anyone bring any extra bags?
No, nobody brought an extra bag.
And that humor has raised hackles too.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Fox himself got stung at the thorny intersection of comedy and race when he hosted Saturday Night Live last month.
And I kill all the white people in the movie. How
great is that?
The blogosphere lit up with complaints of reverse racism. Fox wants to clear the air.
I've never in my life felt like, because of what I went through and being called as a kid, that I wanted to go out and kill all the white people. I've never felt that, and I can't find any black people that actually feel that way. The only thing I wanted to be able to do was live my life, be in love with who I want to be in love with, have my life spent freely without someone judging me because of the color of our skin.
And that, of course, is all Django wants too. But getting there is a brutal and bloody affair. For DiCaprio, some real blood was spilled. He broke a glass in this scene, but kept on acting.
If you care to join me in the parlor, we will be serving white cake.
That was the fun part, is watching their reactions. Honestly, because boom, it happened, and then I opened my hand, and then blood starts pouring everywhere. And I saw Jamie go, yeah, like this, and Quentin like had his hand, and he goes.
But only a drop in the bucket for the reigning king of carnage, Tarantino, who started 20 years ago with the extremely violent Reservoir Dogs. Not surprisingly, Django is drawing fire for its use of violence.
In Shakespeare's time, he was blamed all the time for the anarchy in the streets.
So you don't see any connection at all?
No, I don't.
Culture.
I don't have any responsibility of what a whacked out crazy person might do.
But for all the controversy surrounding Django, the laundry list of its possible offenses and insensitivities, Fox has a suggestion.
What I tell people is this: before you form an opinion, I've seen people come out of the movie going in to hate it. I'm going in to say I don't like Quentin and Jamie Foxx teeth and all this other kind of stuff, whatever it is, and Leo looked too good and I just don't like none of this. I'm going there. I've seen people come out of the movie, wow, I take it all back. They had me laughing, they had me rooting and cheering, because you're not rooting for the black guy to kill the white people. You're rooting for the guy who just wants to be in love with his woman